Well, welcome back. Joining me is Steve Jones with CASA of Southern Kentucky. Steve, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me on.
So CASA, you've got a training coming up for people who want to be advocates.
Yes, we train advocates for about 4 times a year. Our advocates are trained to work and be the voice of abused and neglected children as they move through the family court system and through the foster care system, other residential treatment facility. But we have our next training coming up. We're calling our summer training.
Okay, so we'll get back to that in just a second. Tell me a little bit about CASA itself.
Sure.
What do you all do?
What we do is recruit and train community volunteers to work with abused and neglected children who've been removed from their home through no fault of their own. You'll often see on the news, such as here on WBKO, where a house is raided and there were children involved and they were placed in the care of the cabinet. Many times that case is referred to us by a family court judge. That's how we get involved with the case. A family court judge asks us to become involved. And then our advocates meet with the child, they meet with the foster parents, the biological parents, all the what we call stakeholders involved with the case. That would be the social worker, their therapist, their physicians.
Wow.
And we make recommendations to the judge on what should happen next to achieve permanency for that child. Ideally, we want to get them back home to mom and dad.
Sure.
But in the reality, sometimes that's just not going to work out. So we make the recommendations on what should happen next. And our advocates stay with those children all through the length of their case. They become a constant in their life.
Okay, I was going to ask about that. Do you get to stay with the kids that you help out, or do you hop around from child to child that needs the help? So you just answered that question.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Our volunteering is a little different than some organizations because we are asking the amount of time to work your case is not very much. It's 6 to 8 hours a month. But we're asking you to stay with the case till it closes, which could be a year or so. Hopefully not quite that long, but it's a little bit of a time commitment we're asking for. But those volunteers we have that do it say it's one of the most exciting and rewarding volunteer experiences they've done.
Well, what are you looking for in a volunteer?
Caring about children. A lot of people think, well, I don't have a background in social services, I don't know the legal system. You don't need any of that. That's what our training covers. It's 30 hours of total training. And then once you're trained, we also assign you a full-time staff member who serves as a mentor for you and is always there helping you work your case.
Nice. Okay, and how many hours a week did you say about for the volunteers?
It's 6 to 8 hours, and that's per month, not per week.
Wow,
yes.
So that's not a huge commitment of time.
No, the training, the 30 hours, which is mandated by the National CASA program, is the single biggest chunk of time you'll spend working for CASA.
Wow. So what are some of the rewards that volunteers have talked about that they get from helping these kids?
Well, I can address that easily because before I was working with CASA, I became a volunteer. I didn't originally plan on working for CASA. I just wanted to become a volunteer, so I had a case. And it's very rewarding to see those children light up when you show up. To be a constant for them. On my case, the second time I visited one of the children, it was a small little child, probably about 7 years old. He started to cry when I left because he wanted me to stay.
Wow.
He wanted me to stay and play. You become very attached to them. That's the great part, but it's also kind of the hard part because eventually we want them to get their own home, and then we have to let them go. We have to let them go.
Yeah.
But it's incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, because you are making a huge difference in a child's life.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what would you say for someone that's on the fence about volunteering?
Well, I can tell you, I know it's kind of short notice, but we have what I call a CASA 101. We're doing one this Monday at 6 o'clock. I'd say give us a call at our phone number and I can set you up with that. You can do it either via Zoom or we're also doing it in person at the CASA office. Okay, and how do they get a hold of you? You can give us a call at 270-782-5353, or you can send me an email, which is steve@casaofsck.org. All right, Steve Jones, thank you so much with CASA, and think about being a volunteer. It's, like he said, very rewarding. Very much. We'll be right back.